I got to start at the bottom of the top 15. You know, I haven't totally studied the landscape of the top 15 of welterweight like I do. I know lightweight like the back of my hand, but you know, I'm assuming Neil Magny's in the bottom half of the top 15. You know, some are probably around 15, 14, 13. So I'm just looking to climb the ladder again. You know, I'm here to be a contender. I think I showed that tonight. You know, I know Carlos has been on a skid, but he's still a tough competitor, and you know, I went out there and did something no one else has done. You haven't seen that in the UFC. I'm finally able to. I have a whole bag of tricks I haven't got to show. I've just showed everybody I got a rear naked choke. You know what I mean? And I got a whole bag of tricks I'm ready to showcase now.
What's it feel like to beat up your hero?
I wouldn't say I beat him up. I mean, the guy, he landed a few shots on me. He had me in a pretty tight armbar. You know, I'd be a liar if I said it was hard. It makes it easier to go out there and compete against a guy you have a lot of respect for. It makes it easy to prepare. You know, when you're a fan of a fighter, it's because you acknowledge their skills. You acknowledge where they're good. You acknowledge their attributes. You know what I mean? So it makes it easy to train for a guy that you've been a fan of because you know how dangerous he is. The guy uses all 8 of his limbs in terms of striking. He's dangerous from his back. He throws a lot of elbows. I was pretty mindful of that tonight, almost too mindful. I think it kind of got me to make a few mistakes, me thinking that he was kind of winding up to throw some elbows from bottom. You know, but I still have a ton of respect for the guy, man. I can't reiterate that enough. I'm not just some guy saying that because I'm fighting a guy. You know, I'm in a lower generation than he is, so I'm not just some guy saying, oh, I have a ton of respect for him, because that's like the cliche thing to say, but I really mean it. You know what I mean? I think the world of the guy, and you know, it wasn't hard for me to go out there and get the job done against him.
You kind of had that look of awe on your face right after the fight ended, like the first second. Was that more of like you're finally back on the winning track, or was it like, holy shit, I just beat my hero?
It's a mix of a few things there. I mean, I've been saying it throughout my career that it was imperative for me after The Ultimate Fighter. I need to beat a guy that I grew up watching. I need to beat a guy I've been a fan of. You know, and the first time I got to do that was against Jim Miller. After I beat Jim Miller, I really felt like inside, mentally, I ascended. Like, okay, I am as good as these guys. Now it was like, okay, I got to beat a former world champion. And there's not a lot of those guys in the UFC. There's not a lot of guys that have been title holders, former title holders that are in the UFC. So getting to beat somebody that at some point in their career has what I'm, you know, striving to achieve, to accomplish, it was you know, it was that on top of the fact that I haven't won in 2.5 years. It's that on top of the fact that this has been the roughest year of my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just finally getting to win, just 2 days left of 2018, I was finally able to hit a high point. It was really needed. I'm
wondering, too, if after your fight, I mean, you had a lot going on, but did you see Amanda's performance? It was so quick right after yours, and if so, what was your thought on that?
Oh, dude, yeah. I was doing an interview, and then the guy's like, hold on. Amanda just dropped Cyborg. We all just stopped what we were doing, watching the TV, and I think that was incredible for one. For two, that's another fighter that went up a weight class. You know what I mean? I think we're starting to see a new trend in the sport. You know what I mean? There was a point in the sport for people that have watched mixed martial arts for a long time. There was a point where cut the most weight, be the biggest guy in your weight class. That was a trend at one point. You know what I mean? I was part of that generation. Whereas now it's like, okay, be the healthier fighter, be the smarter fighter. But yeah, congrats to Amanda Nunes. What a feather in her cap for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, congrats on the win, of course.
Thank you.
So, as you mentioned, you have a lot of respect for Carlos Connor. I think everyone in this room does. But now he's got 5 straight losses, and obviously you and he have 2 different careers. But do you think he should continue fighting? Do you feel like his heart is in it like it used to be?
Nobody has the right to tell a fighter, you know, especially anybody in this room. That's amongst him and his family and his teammates. I have no business saying that. Carlos Condit still has a tool bag that he could go out and beat anybody on any given night. It just so happens he had to fight me tonight, and I was very, very well prepared. You know what I mean? This wasn't like he just went out and lost to some chump. He just went out and lost to a guy. I mean, had I not had my mishap with Kevin Lee, I would have been fighting Tony Ferguson for the title. You know what I mean? I'm not some scrub. You know, I've been on the brink of title fights. You know what I mean? I'm a tough guy. So, you know, that's amongst him and his family and his team. You know, but if that is, I don't want to be the guy that he ends his career off of. I would like to have it be someone else. I don't want it to be me. But But if this is the end, I mean, fucking what a ride he's had, dude. The guy, two major world titles across 2 organizations. He's competed against some of the best in the world. I hope this isn't it for him.
And speaking of titles, you're now in your new division. Most of us here expect you to be ranked after this. How do you feel about the title picture? Because it seems a little unclear about who's fighting who, if Woodley's going to fight Covington, or if Usman's in the picture.
I like the title picture here better than lightweight.
Oh, yeah.
Lightweight is just, you want to talk about a cluster. You have Ferguson, who's the interim champ. You got Khabib, who's undoubtedly the undisputed champ across the board. You got Conor, who could jump in and get the title fight if he wants it anytime. You know what I mean? Dustin Poirier sitting in the fringes with, in my opinion, the guy has the best winning streak in the UFC right now in terms of the resume. I mean, Dustin Poirier's win streak is phenomenal. You know, there's a lot of X factors in that division where I'd rather be at 170 where there's just 3 guys. You know what I mean? It's one champion, one interim champion, and then Usman. You know what I mean? Pretty easy picture. By the time I work my way to the top, that'll all be sorted out. So I'd rather be in this clusterfuck than that one. Pardon my language.
Great answer. Thanks.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
When you say you need to be the more cerebral fighter at 170, what does that mean exactly?
This goes back to an interview of an article of Anthony Smith's I saw, where he's talking about how he felt in his fights at 185 pounds. And I could totally relate to it. He's talking about how when you go through that hard cut and you go compete, you're just kind of in a fog. Your best shot at winning is really just putting the gas pedal to the floor, going for it, and hoping for the best. And when I was in there tonight, when you go through a hard weight cut, you're draining fluids from every part of your body, including up top. You know what I mean? So I only had to cut a pound the day of weigh-ins. I didn't have to totally drain my body. If you saw the way I looked at weigh-ins when I fought Pettis, you know what I mean? That's complete, total dehydration. I didn't have to put my body through that. I didn't have to put my brain through that. So when I got in there tonight, I was literally making decisions. Like I was able to, I can compete, I can maintain a high pace, but I can make decisions about what I want to do. I can make decisions on how I'm going to escape submissions. That's being a cerebral fighter. And it's hard to be a cerebral fighter when you're totally dehydrating yourself and then giving yourself, you're not giving yourself great odds at winning. I've done it through my career, but that was that wasn't smart fighting. That was me just like, hey, my best shot at winning is I just got to dump the gas tank and hope I catch this guy. You know what I mean? So. Being cerebral in there means being able to make decisions on the fly, no matter what the pace of the fight is.
Do you wish you went up sooner?
Yes, I do wish I went up sooner, but thankfully, I just turned 31 this month. I'm in the prime of my career. I haven't taken too much damage. I haven't been in a ton of wars. We train really smart back home at Sick Jitsu. I'm not in a lot of gym wars. My body's at 31 years old and almost 11 years in the sport. I haven't taken a ton of damage. Knock on wood. I haven't had any major surgeries. I'm definitely in the best. I'm in my prime. This is my prime. I wish I would have done this sooner, but I'm just glad I did it now. And I'm really looking forward to 2019.
And just last thing, you said this is the toughest year of your life. What were you referring to? What the outside of the cage stuff, the McGregor, Sally?
Yeah. I mean, you already know. It goes all the way back to. Starting 2018 with a loss with the Kevin Lee thing, 223, 226. You know what I mean? It was tough. You know what I mean? And it was, if one thing's for sure, I showed my heart tonight. You know what I mean? I was able to overcome a lot of shit. Nobody's had the plate that I've had. Nobody's had to open the social media accounts and see all the fucking shit I have to read every day. The shit that my family has to read every day. Nobody has to deal with that on an everyday basis. And to be able to overcome everything that I've gone through this year and everything I still have to deal with on a regular basis, rise to the occasion and get a win, I needed it. My family needed it, and I'm very thankful. And I love my mom. She's in the back.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cris confirmed. He confirmed it.
Hello, everybody. Tonight's attendance was a total sellout. Gate was 2.06 million. Attendance was 15,862. Where she got him here? Okay, fight of the night was Mendez and Vulcan Offski. And then the performance of the night went to Amanda Nunes and Ryan Hall. They all won $50,000. Congrats. John.
Pretty incredible night.
Yeah.
I wonder if you personally, after everything that went down and all that we had to deal with this past week, do you take personal satisfaction when you end up having a night like this where you kind of stick it to everybody, I guess?
Yeah, I love sticking it to everybody. So yes, it was a very satisfying night to me. It's unbelievable how when we go into, a week like this, just the backlash and negativity and bullshit that you have to read and all this stuff that goes on during the week of a fight like this. I saw this, I get it for you guys that it's, there's an ocean of Twitter tweets and Instagrams and all these things, and I guess saying stupid things sometimes makes you stand out. What's his name tonight? What's that idiot's name that I can't stand? Darren Ravel tweets out, the fuck does Darren Ravel know about fighting, number one? Okay, let's start with that. And he says the UFC got destroyed tonight because Cris Cyborg lost and Amanda Nunes won and she's not marketable at all and fucking, It's just like, listen, I'm pretty resilient to this dumb shit, but oh my God. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Well, let's talk about Amanda Nunes. What a moment that was. Talk about just kind of what you thought about that fight and what you want to see going forward for her. Now she's got 2 belts and, it's tough to defend in 2 weight classes, but there's not a lot at 145. Yeah. So, what do you want to see for her?
I said it for a long time now and leading up to this fight. This is the fight that had to happen. This fight had to happen. It was the fight to make. And this is the type of fight that builds legacies, and you realize you have to find out who is the best in the world. We were able to do that tonight, and it was an incredible fight. And look at Amanda Nunes. And you think Amanda Nunes isn't going to be a star after this? I fucking guarantee it. I promise you that. Place went crazy for her. And I don't know what's next. Tuesday, we'll be back in the office, and we'll have a meeting, and we'll figure out what's next for her.
Ask about John Jones as well. He looked very, very dominant returning tonight. He made it clear right away. He said DC, threw the name out there. Are you interested in that fight? It seems like it would be one of the biggest fights you could possibly make. And I wonder if you're interested in making it. And would you want to do it at 205 or would you want to do it at heavyweight? So
I was talking to Cormier during the Jones fight, and he's all fired up. He was obviously very angry this week leading into this fight. And, there was talk from his camp about him retiring without another fight, and maybe he was just going to fight one more fight. It sounds to me like Cormier's ready to fight 2 or 3 more fights before he thinks about hanging it up. And you know me, I'm always the first to say when it's time for somebody to retire, Cormier's the man. It is not time for Cormier to retire. There's big fights out there for him that people care about, and legacy type stuff like we were saying about Amanda and Cyborg. So I'm happy about it.
Is he open to fighting Jones? I know he's busy.
Listen, these guys, Cormier will fight anybody. You know Cormier. Cormier hates Jones so bad. He was on a rampage this week, and he was being a bit of a drama mama this week, but I don't blame them. They hate each other. When you hate somebody that bad, it brings the worst out in you. It does.
Just 2 more quick questions. BJ Penn, did you have a chance to talk to him after the fight tonight, and what was his mindset? What is he thinking? I
didn't see BJ. BJ's a legend in this sport. He went down to Brazil, trained hard for this thing, got into great shape. The camp was raving about him. He got caught in a submission tonight. BJ Penn is one of the legends of the sport and helped build this company, I would love to see BJ retire. BJ Penn has nothing left to prove. You know, I say it all the time, fighting is a young man's game. This is not for older men. BJ is a multiple-time world champion in multiple divisions, and he's got nothing to prove. People love him, and he's a legend, and he's done it all, and there's nothing left to do, in my opinion.
And Dana, last one for me. At the last pay-per-view, there was a teaser video that seemed to show like a new championship belt that was dated 12/29. You know, tonight,
Yeah.
those belts look the same to me. What was that about? What happened?
Oh, the shit show that went on this week. You know what I mean? We felt it wasn't the right time to do it. We were going to do it in Vegas and do it in Vegas, but we're going to do it in Brooklyn. Then we're gonna officially release the new belt. So you have the classic, you know, belts that that Meyerowitz used to give out and we gave out for the first couple of fights. Then during, we'll call it the Fertitta era, we had those belts, and then now we have a new belt for the new era starting on ESPN and all the other things that we're working on right now. I'm telling you guys, and this is exciting not just for me, my staff, the fighters, and everybody else. The stuff that we are working on right now that's going to happen in the next couple of years with ESPN, things that we're doing in-house, and all these changes that we're making, this is a game changer for the sport. It's going to be big for everybody involved.
What is next for Alexander Gustafson, do you think? Where does he go from here?
I don't know. You know, this is one of those situations where he needs to go home, take some time off, spend some time with his family, and then figure out what he wants next.
Is it possible to get a fourth title shot in the future, or?
Well, it depends on what he does from here on out. You know, he's got a couple fights to win before he even starts talking about being back in the picture for a title shot.
What do you make of the fight him against Jones?
Yeah, listen, they both had a lot of time off, and they were both coming in rusty. And I saw that, you know, when you look at the fight early, Gustafsson looked good. And he was getting to Jones, and then he got kicked in the shin, and you could tell that he got hurt with that leg kick that John hit him with. And then I'm sure he went, I don't know this for fact, but I'm sure he went back to the corner, and they said, his legs are hurt, go out there and shoot on him and take him down and try to finish the fight. I'm assuming that's what happened. I don't know, but it makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, I wanted to ask you about Jones and how he approached the fight. It seemed like in the first two rounds, I tweeted, I said he looks maybe more like Mayweather than the old John Jones, you know, staying on the outside and kicking and just scoring points. And then in the third round, it seemed like it became the John Jones that we had known for so many years. Did you see that, and why do you think, was it just the rust that would require him to take a couple rounds before he got into that?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. You guys got to ask him that when he comes out here. But yeah, I agree. I think he had a slow start. And I don't know if he was just taking his time and pacing himself. He's got to go 5 rounds with Gustafson, who's tough and you know, can definitely go 5 rounds himself. Tried to bust him up the best he could, and then went in for the kill when he hurt his leg and shot on him.
And do you feel like there's any chance that he, you know, we're starting to, not that he's declining, but we're seeing, you know, as a slow, you know, he's not the same guy that he was when he was 27 or whatever. Is there any chance that we're seeing that now? That's what this is?
That's always possible. I don't think we saw it here tonight in this fight. Because, you know, not a bad game plan in the way that this thing played out for him now that it's over and he won. But we have to see from here on out. You know, the big question about John Jones is this. He made it to this fight. This fight needed to happen. He did not test positive for a PED. You know, we've been through all that shit last week. We know. Now what needs to happen is John Jones needs to pass his drug test that the California State Athletic Commission is taking. And honestly, off the top of my head right here, I don't know if they're testing for recreational drugs or what the deal is. But John Jones needs to stay on the straight and narrow, stay out of trouble, stay in the gym. I would love to keep him busy this year with all the great things that we have going on right now. And we'll find out where John Jones is as far as timing, age, you know, all these other things.
One other question about the heavyweights or the light heavyweights. Is Brock completely out of the picture now? Is that no longer an option?
No, he's not. He's not out of the picture.
There still is a chance that you could sign him.
Absolutely.
Okay. What has been the holdup? Because
I think he's already under contract with me.
Well, I mean, it's seeming like there's been, it's looked.
Yeah. So we were talking about it, and then he ended up signing a new deal with WWE. What I think happens is, he's in a very unique position because he can play this thing between UFC and WWE, and they get right down to the wire. And I think Vince throws so much money at him that he says, all right, I'll do it again. Because this is here no matter what. When he's ready, he can come in here and fight, and he's going to make a shitload of money here too. So it makes sense. I'm assuming that's what's going on.
Who would you like better for Brock if he fights?
One of the things that you guys know about me is I don't wait for anybody. I'm not fucking waiting around for anybody. So I'm rolling with the business. Guy doesn't want to fight this year? It's all good. It doesn't matter who you are, how big you are, what your deal is. You don't want to fight? Do your thing. When you're ready to fight, you come back and talk to me, and we'll figure something out.
Who would be better, him or DC? Or Jones or DC against
They're
Brock?
both good. Those are both good fights. I think Jones, DC, and Stipe are all three good fights for Cormier, if Cormier wants to do 3 more fights.
And if I could ask you a couple about Amanda, do you feel like, beating Valentina, beating Ronda, beating Miesha Tate, and now beating Cris.
She's the best ever.
She's the best ever?
How can you deny it? You can't deny that she's the best ever. That's what this fight was for. This fight was to find out. But if you look at her resume and who she's beat, she's the best ever. You can't. Nobody can dispute that. You can try and you can say some stupid shit, but she's the best ever.
And lastly about her, can you quantify like her punching power? Because I don't know that we've ever seen a woman fighter that punched the way she punches.
I agree. And the other thing was, one of her big things going into this fight, which Cyborg talked about a lot, she's like, I need 9 months. I need to put weight on. She's like, I'm going to go fight this chick. This chick's going to come in at 165 pounds. I need to put more weight on or whatever. I don't necessarily always believe in that. When you put more weight on, it slows you down. You're not used to carrying that kind of weight for 5 rounds. The list goes on and on of reasons that I don't think that's absolutely necessary. But she looked damn good tonight. She looked strong. Not only was she dropping bombs, she was taking big shots too and walking right through them like it was nothing. So maybe there is something to it. That's a big thing for GSP too. Remember? GSP always said, I'm not going up to 85 unless I have the time to put the weight on the right way and all that stuff. I always haven't been a believer in it, but seems to work. And what the hell do I know?
Dana over here.
Yep. Hey.
Were you stunned in the fashion of which Cyborg lost tonight?
Yeah, I mean, listen, some of the guys that I talked to this week, you guys, I said I picked this to be the fight of the night. I thought it was going to be the fight of the night. And it obviously went the way that I thought it would go, but I thought it would be that way, but much longer. I thought those two were going to, because those two didn't waste any time. They went out and started blasting from the minute the bell rang. And that's what I expected. And I expected that to go on for a while until somebody started to get tired or somebody got clipped. Yeah. It's like the Mendez Volkanovski fight was exactly the way I thought it would be, except it didn't start that fast. I thought it would start right away. It took a minute, but I expected that fight to go that way, and one of them was going to get.
And when you're sitting there watching this, and you can kind of feel the wave in the arena of everyone getting fired up.
Yeah.
You're thinking like, holy shit, she's going to end it right here, like everybody else was thinking.
Yeah. It was. I mean, the roof came off that place when that fight ended. It was, it was as exciting a fight as you'll ever see. And what makes it even bigger are the stakes. You have 2 of the baddest women fighting to see who the baddest is, both world champions in 2 different weight classes, and they come out and start bombing like that. It's just, there's nothing more fun. You couldn't ask for anything better, and that type of a fight with what was at stake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Dana, so if I can just get you to clarify, Alexander Gustafsson could potentially get a 4th chance depending on his next couple of fights.
Well, we have to see what happens. First of all, sitting here right now, I don't know what Gustafsson wants to do. I don't even know what the guy wants to do.
Have you spoken to him?
No. In the octagon, I saw him and asked him if he was okay, but that's it. I don't know what he wants to do. I'm sure he wants to go home, be with his family, and relax for a while, and then he can figure out what's next. When we do figure out what's next, he's got to get out there. I don't know how many times he's going to fight this year, who he's going to fight, if he's going to win, how he's going to win, any of those things. There's so many factors that go into where he ends up.
And you've mentioned previously that you're hoping to see Conor return sometime this year. Do you have any idea against who? There's been talk about Poirier.
Well, unfortunately, we haven't gone before the Nevada State Athletic Commission yet. That still hasn't happened. I don't know what the hell is going to go on until that happens.
In an ideal world, who would you want to see him against?
In my world, I mean, I think everybody. I'd like Conor to fight next weekend and the weekend after that. But we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen with Nevada. And then, you know, if you look at what we've got right now, you got Conor hopefully coming back in the summer or sometime around there. We got Khabib, who will come back after his suspension. You got Tony in there now. Max Holloway could possibly move up in that weight division. There's so many great things that can happen in that division right now, but none of it can even begin to play out or even begin to think about it until this stuff's done in Nevada.
And finally, Alex Volkanovski, he was obviously on top of him, over the moon after his victory. He beat the number 5 guy. Moicano didn't make weight when he was supposed to. How far is Volkanovski from a title shot?
Yeah, listen, he beat a real guy tonight. Beating Mendez is a big deal. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's been in some incredible fights. I mean, his fight with Jose Aldo in Brazil was one of the best fights I've ever seen. And, beating him's a big deal. So he's in a very good position right now, and we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Dana over here. This was the last show in the Televisa TV contract in Mexico. You guys are starting with Fox Sports again next month. What are your expectations for next year for Mexico? Cain Velasquez just announced he's coming back, and I don't know. It's been talks about a contender series, probably coming back with a pay-per-view because it haven't happened since 2015. Last time Cain Velasquez fought in Mexico.
I'm not sure what your question was, but. Yes, I mean, I say it all the time. Mexico is very important to us. I've always been focused on Mexico. Cain Velasquez is coming back in a great fight with Francis Zingano. And, we got to see how he does, and then we'll go from there. And are you asking when we're coming back to Mexico?
Yeah, is it possible to come back with a pay-per-view depending on Cain?
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
Kelvin Gastelum,
absolutely.
Champion, I don't know, some Mexican fighter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Hi. Here, over here.
Hi.
Hi. So you said that if Gustafsson won, you were maybe going to Sweden. Is that still a possibility in the next future?
Yeah, we can still... Listen, you've been to the Sweden events, right? Uh-huh. They're ridiculous. They're amazing. The fans over there are incredible. We sell that place out every time we go. It's so fun. Yes, we can end up back in Sweden, even though he didn't win.
Do you have any idea when?
I do not, sir.
So this is obviously a sad day for Swedish MMA fans, but David Tamer has been racking up win after win. When can we expect him to get a crack at the top 15?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That's a great question and a fair question. He looks incredible, and I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Do you think he deserves it?
Do you think what?
Do you think?
Could we have a worse place for a press conference right now?
I agree.
It's like we're at the airport.
Do you think David Tamer deserves a top 15 next?
Sure.
And lastly, Jack Hermanson looked great in his last couple of fights. Do you think he is ready for that next step?
Who did you say?
Jack Hermanson, the Joker.
I don't know. For me to answer these questions right now, I mean, I got to be in the room. When we do the matchmaking, there's so many things that are involved. Timing, where is it? Who's hurt? Who's available? How many of the top 15 guys already have a fight? There's a lot of things that go into deciding who's next.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Here?
Yep.
Over here.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I may be not an expert in everything, but I didn't understand quite the thing about John Jones and the California Commission about possibly testing for whatever.
Well, so here's what happens. So all the stuff, all the stuff that happened before this, the testing and all the stuff. They tested him in California too, but there's drug tests the night of the fight too. You get drug tested tonight or whenever it is, So he has to pass those drug tests too. The difference is when you're in competition, they usually test for recreational drugs too, marijuana, cocaine, and all these different things. Jon Jones' future depends on a lot of different drug testing. This guy needs to keep passing drug tests. He needs to stay clean, stay straight, keep training, stay in the gym, keep winning, and this guy can completely turn his life around.
Okay, so what would happen if you didn't pass a test after tonight?
I'm going to kill myself.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen, sorry.
Huh?
I wouldn't want that to happen.
No, thank you, ma'am. Some other people in here would.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana. Over to your right. Of all the things that Jon Jones is good at, the many things he's good at, is the best thing his ability to block everything else out and get in there and fight? Of all the things that are going on, it's uncanny.
Yeah, you know what's fascinating about this guy? When you think about him as a fighter, he's one of the strongest people you've ever seen, and physically, mentally, emotionally. All the drama that was going on this week, and not being able to fight in Nevada and all this stuff, he really did keep it together. And I've seen many fighters crack under a lot less pressure. And the thing is with the guy, if he can get his personal life together, who knows what this guy could accomplish? Knows what he could do.
Cris Cyborg is going to her final fight on her contract now. Is a rematch? Does that make sense? She hasn't lost since 2005. Do you go right back to Cyborg Nunes too?
I don't think you do.
No.
No, I mean, it was a pretty convincing win.
Sure.
So
what do you do with Cyborg then at that point?
Again, I gotta get back in the lab and figure it out. But we'll come up with something for her.
A couple last things. Kat Zingano, that whole situation where she got a toe in the eye. Have you ever seen?
No, it's pretty crazy.
Fight before?
I've heard of it happening, but I never saw it before. Unfortunate, and one of those just wacky. If you think about an MMA fight between two really good MMA fighters, and the kicks and the punches and the elbows and all the things that fly around, it really is a very unique and odd injury. But I've heard of it happening. Happened to the coach there.
Winklejohn.
Yeah.
Should that be treated like an eye poke? Like a
I don't know what you'd call it. It's actually a toe poke, but I don't know. I don't know. It happens so infrequently. It's tough to make a call on that. What's that? Yeah. So apparently, you heard him.
Yeah. Last couple of things, Dana. Ryan Hall. What do you make of Ryan Hall? He doesn't fight for 2 years, comes in, submits BJ Penn with a heel hook. I don't know. It's
incredible,
crazy.
I mean, the one thing that I liked about this, and I don't want to piss BJ off because I love BJ, but I would like to see BJ retire. So in setting up this fight, it set up the perfect fight where it's a submission match between two incredible submission guys. And for him to submit BJ the way that he did, as fast as he did, it's a big deal for that kid, And I'm sure, like Rogan said, I'm sure he grew up idolizing BJ Penn. So to be able to pull that off it's incredible.
Hall said he's having a hard time finding fights. No one wants to fight him. How do you match
Hall?
him up? Yeah, that's what he said. He said no one wants to fight him. I mean, he's like the ultimate specialist, right?
There's no problem finding fights around here. We can find Hall fights. We can get Hall fights.
And last thing, Nick Diaz, I believe, said recently that he's actually not going to fight George Masvidal on that card in March in Las Vegas. He said he's not doing it. Nick Diaz. Any response? Any clarification on that?
I think that's pretty clear. All you got to do is watch his Instagram. I don't think it looks like he's training for a fight.
So that fight's not happening. That's
yeah.
It.
No.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana.
Yeah.
So Cyborg was really the only featherweight fighter, pretty much. She and Megan Anderson were really the original featherweights in that division. Now that Amanda is the featherweight champion, do you have her defend that belt? Do you hire new girls to fight on that division? What's the future for that division?
I don't know. I gotta figure that out. I need to talk to Amanda and see what she wants to do, and we'll figure it out.
You said that you saw that fight going kind of what it went and Amanda winning. Why were you confident that Amanda had what it took to take out Cyborg?
Well, I didn't say that I saw that fight going that way and Amanda wins. What I said was, when I called that the fight of the night. I thought that was going to be fight of the night because that's exactly the way I thought the fight would go. That those guys would be blasting each other from bell to bell until somebody fell down. And obviously Amanda came out and made it quick. But I expected that to be that type of a fight is what I was saying.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's okay.
Now, I have a question about the UFC event in Fortaleza. Jose Aldo is now on that card against Renato Moicano, but that's billed the co-main event to Rafael Assunção against Marlon Moraes. Why is that? Why isn't Jose Aldo the main event for that event?
I agree with you 100%, sir. He wanted to be the co-main event. He didn't want to fight 5 rounds. He wanted 3.
So it was Aldo who asked.
right in that market. To have it,
Listen, Australia is full of fight fans, man. That whole area over there is insane. And that's another one. I can't remember because it feels like it was 3 years ago to me. But we put that thing on sale and it sold out in like a day or hours or something. I can't remember how fast, but it sold out so fast. You know, Israel versus Anderson Silva. And then obviously the main event with Whitaker and Gastelum. That card's going to be sick. I'm flying over there for that one. I can't wait. And, you know, for those of you from the media that have never seen a fight live in Australia, trust me, go to this event. The crowd is insane. It's going to be a very, very fun event. I hope I answered your question.
Then one of the first things that Amanda Nunes said is, then I have to be in a Hall of Fame. What's your comments on it?
She said, Dana, I have to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
You're a little young, lady. Calm down. Slow down. She's obviously going to be in the Hall of Fame eventually. She's the greatest female fighter ever.
That's the first thing she said. And also a question. A lot of...
Thank you. We good? You done with me? Oh, this guy. Go ahead.
Hi, Dana. Just wanted to ask you.
From Russia, they have a problem.
I have an ace and the dealer has an ace. I'm taking even money all day. So we moved the thing to California. They could have stopped us from moving to California. They could have told California they weren't comfortable with it. I don't see John Jones having a problem getting a license in Nevada. He didn't do anything wrong.
Gut feeling or lines of communication open with Nevada right now about what you can expect when they reconvene?
I don't know what to expect, but I would be blown away if they didn't give him a license to fight in Nevada. It makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. We good? Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Yeah, it's coming.
Hey, Dana. So, you know, you and Oscar have been sparring again and back and forth. What's really at the source of your conflicts here?
What started, first of all, this all started with him telling people not to watch Mayweather versus McGregor. Who does that, you know? Then he came out and said that, you know, he basically lied about what guys had been paid, what we were paying fighters, what Chuck Liddell made, what Tito made. He's a liar. And I called him out for being a piece of shit and a liar, basically.
And, you know, he's said that he's going to try to take over with his MMA, of course. And you've talked about boxing. Are you still trying to get into it? Now you're with Roy Jones.
Wait till you see what we do this year. Wait till you see what happens with Oscar De La Hoya in the next 3 years.
So what's your prediction for the zone?
Listen, you guys know me, man. Some of you have known me for a long time. You want to battle? I'm your guy. I'm your guy. Let's do it. Good? Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Let's go.
Alex, I know it's a disappointing night for you, and it's still fresh. But I mean, considering how long you built up to this moment, what is the feeling like for you right now?
I'm disappointed, very disappointed. But it's a sport and it's a fight, so we did our best there in the octagon, and this was the outcome. So I just have to take it like a man.
Couldn't help but notice the limp on the way up. Update us on your condition. What happened? When did that injury occur?
No, I just hurt my groin in there, and John he knew exactly what to do to stop my footwork and stop my movement and my flow, my distance, and so he just made sure I couldn't move anymore. That was it. It took me down and I couldn't get up, and yeah, that was it.
You look like you went over and had a pretty lengthy exchange with them. Can you share with us what was said between you two after the fight?
No, we just mutual respect. This is a sport, and at the end of the days, we share a bond. Being there for the second time, and yeah, it's just like a moment of sportsmanship and respect.
And lastly, for me, I know you don't want to make excuses, but this was one crazy week. Any regrets at all that maybe you didn't say? Yeah, let's do some more.
Hell no, no. I'm glad I took the fight, and I'm glad that I have to, I got to fight John again, and it's just been a good ride, and I've been enjoying it every minute of it, and yeah, it is what it is. It's a sport. It's fighting business. It's a crazy business, and it hurts. Sometimes it's good days, and sometimes you have bad days.
Hi, Alex. Over here. Hi. Did it feel different being in there with John this time compared to your first fight?
No, not at all. He got me very, very early in the first round, very early, and after that, I just shut out. I wasn't tired. I had my conditioning in. I felt good, and we had our exchanges and everything. But he just shut me down very early in the first round, and that was it. And I couldn't move at all. So, and I told that to my corner too, and all that. He did exactly what he's supposed to do, and he made sure he won the fight, and all credit to him.
Do you feel any different about his recent doping test now after being knocked out and him being able to compete?
No. It is what it is, and we're here. And at the end of the day, we just two men in an octagon competing to each other. So there's no excuses. There's nothing like that at all. It is what it is, and he was the better man today.
And what's next for you? What do you say about your future?
Going home to my kids.
And fighting-wise? Fighting-wise, what do you see?
Let's see what happens. We just have to heal up from this, and then we take it from there and move on. It's a sport. Sometimes you lose and sometimes you win, and that's how it is.
You want to continue in light heavyweight?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Alex. Couldn't help but notice you walked into the same walkout song you had when you and Jones first met at UFC 165. I'm assuming that was intentional, but what was some of the reasoning behind it?
No, just like you said, it was. I had it the first time, and I have good memories from it, and also Avicii passed away, and it was just a good way for me to honor him, and yeah, that was it, and I liked the song.
Good answer. And could you just detail what exactly was the game plan going into this rematch? Because I'm assuming obviously you approached it differently than the first.
No, I wanted to move. I want to stay light, move around and like I always do basically. But yeah, after that first exchange, I couldn't follow up my game plan, and then I was trying to. Then I was more on his distance, and I was working on my boxing there, and. But he moved around, and I couldn't really follow his movement. And no, I fought his game today.
And your friend and teammate Dilo Latifi unfortunately lost as well.
It was a bad night for the Vikings today.
Yeah, right. Did you have a chance to talk to him, or?
Yeah, of course. No, he's fine, and he's an athlete, and he's gonna come back stronger from this.
And we asked Dana before, can Gustafsson still get another title shot if things go well? And he seemed pretty open to it. I mean, obviously, that's not on your mind right now, but do you think maybe down the road that you could see yourself fighting for a title again?
Yeah, I'm not. It's not over yet. So let's see what's next. And like always, you do this for a reason, and is to compete with the best guys out there, and that's what I will do, and I will do it as long as I think it's fun. And yeah.
All right, we look forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
Alexander, här. I know. I really need you to answer in Swedish because I'm from Swedish radio. Would you mind?
Yeah, no, of course.
Kan du förklara vad var det som hände i första ronden som gjorde att du påverkade hur du kunde röra dig?
Han satte ett knä tidigt i första ronden och efter det så kunde jag inte röra mig. Så att jag ska göra en liten magnet när jag kommer hem på mitt vad fan heter det? Groin. Ljumsken, ja, tack. Så att jag kunde inte röra mig efter det. Och det var typ det. Och sen försökte jag kliva in och boxas med istället och det funkar inte riktigt. Han är bäst i världen av en anledning. Och han ser när du är skadad, när du har ont och inte har ont. Liksom. Och han utnyttjade det och gjorde vad han skulle göra för att vinna. Så att all respekt till honom.
Och det avgörande ögonblicket, alltså det som hände i tredje ronden när han får ner det där, vad hände då?
Nej, jag kunde inte röra mig på grund av min ljumske. Jag vet inte, jag får kolla upp när jag kommer hem. Men mitt fotarbete var borta och sen kunde jag liksom inte riktigt ta stöd heller. Så att det är sånt som händer. Han visste exakt vart han träffade, det var precision, det var teknik och han är ju duktig av en anledning så att han gjorde vad han behövde göra för att få slut med helt enkelt.
Du sa att det var en dålig kväll för Vikingarna. Du är ju enormt populär i Sverige och jag tror många är jättebesvikna. Men vad kan du säga om framtiden och vad du kommer göra härnäst liksom? Nej,
vi tar det härifrån. Nu får vi se vad de har för planer för mig och så. Jag ska väl hem och bara ta det lite lugnt en stund och sen tillbaka igen. Jag har varit borta 1,5 år och jag vill inte liksom ha den långa breaken. Jag vill liksom in tillbaka igen och vara aktiv och köra liksom. Det är en sport vi håller på med och det handlar om att vara så aktiv som möjligt hela tiden. Och det är min tanke nu. Jag är i bra form och det känns skitbra. Det är bara att jag har lite ont i benet, allt.
Nu ska ju han ska ju dopningstestas igen efter den här matchen. Snackade Dana White om och av Kalifornien och så här. Men vad säger du om hela den här historien som har varit kring det här?
Nej, det är tråkigt alltså. Det är klart att det är. Jag menar, det finns väl en anledning till varför han inte hade ett rent urintest. Men vi kan spekulera. Vi har gjort det hela veckan och jag bara känner nu att nu har vi haft våran strid och han vann, han var en bättre man än idag och allt andra spelar inte ingen roll för mig just nu utan jag tar det som en man och jag kommer hem och tar hand om mina skador och sen tillbaka på det bara.
Tack så mycket,
tack.
Hey Alex, so you said you're going to stick around at light heavyweight, but I'm wondering, is a move to heavyweight a possibility in the future? You're a big guy and you have talked about it before.
Yeah, of course. The heavyweight division is also an alternative, but yeah, I have no idea. Let's see. I'm here to fight, either if it's a light heavy or heavy. I have to talk to my coaches, my team, and see what's next.
Can you explain how much this rematch against John Jones meant for you?
Well, it meant everything to me. This is not football or tennis. We are practicing it, and it's pure fighting, and every fight is life changing for you. So it meant everything to me, and it's a big setback for me now losing to John again. So yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a sport, and we do this because we love it. So
you still have a close loss to DC. There was a classic war. Is that a rematch that you're going to maybe go after now?
No, sorry. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I just take the next fight to give me. I have to start all over again, and that's the way this business works.
Lastly, I want to ask a question in Swedish. Uppenbarligen hela landet står bakom det. Det är jättemånga som supportar dig. Kan du bara ge ett meddelande till fansen, alla som har stöttat dig inför den här matchen?
Jag är jätteledsen för att jag har gjort många besvikna och ledsna där hemma. Vi kom hit som det var inte bara jag som slogs idag, utan det var en hel nation och jag har verkligen känt hela veckan och stödet hemifrån och så. Så att det är en otroligt stor besvikelse. Men samtidigt så visar det också hur starka vi är och hur att vi har varandra bakom, vi har varandras ryggar helt enkelt. Och det är väl det som betyder någonting i slutet av dagen. Och jag längtar till att få komma hem till vårt vackra Sverige och liksom ta det därifrån.
Tack Alex, thank you.
Back here. Hi, back here. Sorry. So you and John had a great fight in the first one. What was the biggest difference the second time around? Did you see something different in him?
No, not really. Not really. He just keeps a very high level of fighting. That's it. I was prepared for it. It was just he just caught me this time. And that's it. But I didn't notice anything about if he was stronger or faster or anything like that. He went for his takedowns. He used his kicks a lot, and I was prepared for that. You know, he just had a really good move today, and he shut me down.
Anyone else? We're done, Alex.
Okay, thank you, everybody.